Legendary investor Warren Buffett on CNBC just a few days back said that the airline business is no longer a suicidal business. If you look at the case in point here in India with SpiceJet and the kind of turnaround that it's seen, it probably holds true. The balance sheet is clearly under repair. We've seen 8 consecutive quarters of profit. There is a cash surplus of about 200 crore rupees, and the airline is now betting big on the regional connectivity scheme, which was announced by the government just a short while ago. Joining us now to take us through the road ahead, the flight path for SpiceJet, is Ajay Singh. Thanks very much for joining us on CNBC TV 18. To start with, Warren Buffett saying no longer a suicidal business, the airline business. Do you believe that's true?
Well, absolutely. It was true when he said that, if you want to become a millionaire, you should start with $1 billion and start an airline, and then you become a millionaire really fast. Even at that time, there were airlines like Southwest and Ryanair and EasyJet that were making money. And I think Warren Buffett has realized that with the oil prices remaining moderate and great growth happening around the world, airlines have started to do really well. And in fact, airlines in India have proved to Warren Buffett that quite the reverse is true. Airlines in India, such as Indigo and SpiceJet, have actually started with a few $1 million and created valuations in the billions of dollars. So I think Warren Buffett has realized this, and I think there is great potential in aviation in India and across the world.
Well, as far as SpiceJet is concerned, it can clearly be broken down into 2 stories, and perhaps the turnaround story is the story that we should focus on. So let me start then by asking you about the big bet. You're the only large listed entity to bet on the regional connectivity scheme. Indigo has very recently, after its results, said that they will look at getting into the regional space as well. In fact, they're put in an order with ATR. How soon can we see the RCS starting to have an impact as far as your earnings are concerned?
Well, we'll start to fly the RCS routes in June of this year. That will be one route, but progressively we will roll them out. And you will see that all the routes are functional by about September. So numbers for that will only come in post that, really.
The question mark in the mind of investors and analysts in the market is that with a price cap of 2,500 rupees, are you likely to make any money? Because it will depend on volumes, it will depend on traffic. Are these likely to be profitable routes for you?
Firstly, this is a very, very small part of SpiceJet's business at this time. We will expand it in time, but at this time it is a small part of SpiceJet's business. I think one of the most important parts of this RCS scheme is that the routes that we are flying to, there is a 3-year exclusivity on these routes that SpiceJet has. Half the seats are not under any fare cap. And we believe that there is great potential in these routes. For example, SpiceJet will be flying from Delhi to Kanpur. That will be a route that SpiceJet will have on an exclusive basis now for 3 years. Kanpur is the industrial hub of UP. There is not a single flight into Kanpur. SpiceJet will be flying from Delhi to Jalandhar, the Adampur airport. Again, very prosperous area without any flight at all. So we think that there is no reason why flights like this are not going to do well. We expect that those flights will be profitable from day one.
You believe that they will be profitable from day one.
Absolutely.
What is the kind, I mean, you've obviously worked in some calculations. If you're saying that all the regional routes will be operational by September, give me a sense of what you expect, for instance, in next financial year from purely the RCS.
I don't want to give any guidance on that because, it's a new scheme. We've got to test it out. And as I said, it's still a small part of, very, very small part of SpiceJet's business. I mean, we are looking at, 10 or 12 flights in where the total universe of flights that SpiceJet has today is about 370 every day. So it's a very small part, but it will grow. As the next round of bidding happens, we will bid for some more. There was a limitation on the number of routes that we could have bid for in the first round, and we bid for the number of routes that we were allowed to. And we will bid again. Now, of course, in some of the cases, government has to get the airports in order.
Yes.
There is a lot of groundwork which is still to be done, but I think there is great potential in the scheme. Just think that with all the constraints on airport infrastructure, today we have 75 airports which are operational. In one shot with the RCS scheme, you suddenly made another 45 airports operational. Now with the next round, there will be another few airports which will become operational. I think it's great for aviation in India.
You were talking about the RCS scheme, and Indigo has now expressed its desire to also get into this. They hope to launch operations by the end of the year, orders being given to ATR. How do you see that? And the fact that they've decided to use this under a separate vertical, I would also imagine that's largely because this is the first time that they're bringing on a different aircraft as well. But what do you make of that strategy?
I think it's very good for regional connectivity in the country that the largest airline decides to get into the space. I think it was something that is worth doing. We feel at SpiceJet that it's worth doing. So we think it should be good for IndiGo. It is of course a different animal. You know, to operate a regional aircraft is very different from operating a narrow body plane. And there are challenges. But I'm sure that an airline with that size and that experience will do that well.
Given the fact that you're bullish about the growth in the aviation market, both for the mainline services as well as for the RCS services, what is the kind of fleet guidance that you can give us? Because if I look at what IndiGo is saying, it's raised its fleet guidance to about 170 versus 154 for FY18. What can we expect?
As you know, we have placed an order for 155 firm and 50 options. These are narrow body planes which will start to deliver in August of 2018. We are trying to prepone some deliveries, but at this time, this is August 2018. Till that time, we will be taking some aircraft on lease. We've already taken 3 aircraft on lease for this season, and we will keep adding planes as and when we feel that there is a need and that we get the aircraft at a cost which is sustainable for us. So it's tough to give a guidance because we need to see what is available in the market and at what cost. Because at SpiceJet, one of the core principles has been that we need to reduce cost, our operating cost, and how
much room is there to further bring down operating costs? You've been able to do that quite successfully, but how much do you believe you can squeeze out further?
We think that there will be a significant reduction in cost as new aircraft start to come in, because the new aircraft
are. But that's 2018
onwards. That's 2018 onwards. Till then, we are looking at leasing aircraft which are far lower cost than the average cost of yield lease that we have today. This has been the principle for SpiceJet in the last 2 years. What we have done is that we have progressively taken aircraft which are significantly cheaper to lease, significantly cheaper to maintain than the aircraft that we had previous to this. And therefore, the average cost of lease has come down for SpiceJet, and in the next 1 year, we expect to bring it down further.
Okay. You've decided to already bid for the RCS routes, and that's something that you will start in June. But what about the low-cost, long-haul plans that you've been working on? When do we expect a decision to be taken on whether you are going to go down that route or not, and what will it mean for you?
Well, we feel that fundamentally India is a massive market. People want to travel to different corners of the world. Currently, we are dependent on foreign carriers pretty much to take people from India to other parts of the world. We think that there is, conceptually at least, there seems to be a great opportunity. If you are able to bring down the cost of that seat, for example, when you fly from Delhi to London, if you can bring down the cost of the seat and you can sell that seat at a lower price.
What is the lower price? If you look at the papers today, British Airways is saying 45,000 or 50,000 rupees or so on and so forth.
We don't know. We don't know what that lower price is. It's tough to say what that low. But just imagine if somebody was to be able to do this in 25 or 30,000 bucks return to London. I would think that many Indians would like to go.
How realistic is this?
I don't know. We are working on it. We are trying to see if we can bring down the cost to a level where we can sustain our profit margins. Because, SpiceJet is not going to do anything unless we are able to sustain profit margins. If we feel that we can profitably, at a lower fare, run a service to different parts of the world, we will certainly explore it.
So what does the business plan tell you today? Will you be able to do this? And when will you finally take a call on whether you will be able to do this profitably?
We are studying it, and we are contacting aircraft manufacturers. We are trying to see what cost we are going to get the plane for, and what the engineering cost is going to be, and so on. So we are working on it. But you have to negotiate these numbers, and if you can get them to a level certainly it's something that we feel will be worth looking at, but it will never ever be done at the cost of profitability.
Okay, since we're talking about profitability and we're talking about costs, one of the big concerns is what is happening to ATF prices. You know, on the Indigo con call, you saw Rakesh Jhunjhunwala ask questions to the Indigo management about why government wasn't bringing down ATF prices. I know that you have been, of course, pushing this case very, very hard that the government needs to bring down prices of ATF. But, you know, my last conversation with the Minister of State for Civil Aviation, he seemed to suggest that that's unlikely to happen. So where do you go from here then as far as ATF prices are concerned?
Well, we need to bring down ATF prices. I mean, it's to us it is unsustainable that ATF prices in India are going to be 50 or 60% higher than most countries around the world. We cannot have the most expensive aviation turbine fuel and expect the civil aviation sector to prosper. So we have been working with government. We have some ideas that we have given to them. So it's basically two-pronged. One, you go to state governments and you say to them that, look, if you reduce the sales tax or you bring it to near zero, you will see an explosion of flights into your state. That helps improve connectivity to your state. That helps improve the business environment. That helps improve tourism. And so it's a good thing. And many states have accepted that proposition and actually brought down the sales tax. The second is to go to the central government and to say to them that, look, you must include ATF as part of GST. Now, they have actually done this for oil that is used for ships. So for fuel which is being used for ships, that is actually included in the GST. So if you can do the same thing with ATF, then what will happen is it will allow us to set off our taxes, and therefore it will bring down the cost of ATF, and that will give a huge.
But is there any reason for you to be hopeful?
Well, I mean,
so far we haven't heard anything that gives us confidence that the government is agreeable or open to your
to be honest with you, I think nobody realized that actually shipping fuel was actually included in GST. And when we said this to members of the government, they said, you know, they were a little surprised to hear that, and they feel that it is worth looking at. And I think that we all need to collectively push. It may not happen right at the outset as GST is introduced, but certainly this is something that is worth discussing with government, because, you know, if you look at the total amount that they are collecting by way of taxes on ATF, the total amount is just 3,000 crores. Now, if you were to do away with these taxes,
incremental
the incremental will be huge. And we have done some calculation. We have shown to them what impact this will have, and in fact, the government will end up making money.
Not losing money.
Not losing money.